Book 1, Law of Salimi, Chapter 39, Level 2 Ability. As I had explained in earlier chapter about my ability to change intense emotion into selective memory that I had finally mastered in its level 1, for my level 2, I was able to use intense focus to change the knowledge from my selective memory into predicting future events. This ability was also known as intelligent guessing, which accurately predict something that might happen or the percentage possibility of something to occur from the concept of cause and effect. In effect, it means that I had the ability to understand how something works quickly and able to make decisions with effect the possible outcome of certain event and human behavior or response. I had applied this ability during my scholarship interview where I managed to predict that being unique and special would entice them into granting me the scholarship. During my studies at UiTM campus Shah Alam, I was able to predict how the lecturer behaved and my response to my actions in order to understand their preferences and tendencies to give good marks in most subjects. Nonetheless, I must admit that this level 2 ability was not yet mastered by me. In fact, I cannot predict everything with utter accuracy. Regardless, this ability had a high chance of success. In addition, I also had another ability, which allowed me to observe, analyze, theorize anything that I can see at level 1. Mastering this ability enabled me to learn something quickly as well as its insight mechanization, which was augmented from my knowledge derived from selective memory ability. By doing so, I managed to unlock my level 2 ability for this one as well, which refers to implement every theory that I learned into actual practice in the real life. This level 2 ability also requires a lot of time to be mastered in my lifetime. So coming back to the story of me, a half pile of documents and a scanner at the 4th floor of the reinsurance company where I last left in the previous chapter. Hence, I began applying both of my level 2 abilities on my given tasks. I began testing new methods which might improve the speed and quality of my scanning. I developed a better understanding about how to utilize the scanner more effectively and efficiently and predicted how much improvement it would contribute to my quality of work. In addition, I also applied every theories that I had discovered into sustaining my focus, doing the menial and rather boring tasks at hand. I began to implement several new systems which would increase the fun factor of actually performing the tedious scanning job. I did not manage to finish the job for the day and started to commence the scanning process in the next day. Soon, I had finished the job and reported my result to my superior, which she had approved of my quality of work. Next, she began to bring me towards the back section of the document depository room, which had massive amount of documents where I needed to scan for the next 3 months. It was an enormous amount of documents. The best way I could describe them would be the fact that I can stack all of these documents, which could be as tall as I was, in 3 towers and possibly more. So I request her permission to do everything using my method, which she had agreed as long as I could produce the same high quality of scanning and details of each document as per required by the task. After conducting numerous tactics and strategy, I finally discovered the best possible method to scan the documents to maximize speed, quality, and fun factor of performing the monotonous task. I started with acquiring a trolley to carry all the documents to my workstation, which no one had ever done that before. Next, I began to stack the documents according to each company, then year, then type of claims, so that I could categorize each document into the same group. It took me about 4 days, with daily tasks for me would be just taking the documents without actually scanning anything at that point. Occasionally, my superiors came to check on me of my progress, which left them surprised and confused with my method. I had to convince them to trust my method, which should improve the quality and speed of completing the scanning process. In addition, other employees, including head of departments from other floors who had passed over my workstation, would stop and ask what exactly I was doing, stacking documents in several huge piles. My answer would always be a single word: scanning, which had a smile on my face every time. Regardless whoever required my explanation on my task, I would just smile and say scanning. If you, the reader, started to get worried after reading this section of my real life story, do not be worried, because I had made rigorous computation in my head using both of my level 2 abilities. I predicted that if I managed to complete this 3 months task within 2 weeks, I will be able to impress everyone at the office and regain their trust into giving me a more serious and significant job for the next 3 months. In addition, I also implemented the motto, I say what I did and I do what I say. And anything that doesn't kill me makes me stronger, as well as never giving up, face every challenges and move forward. By doing so, I also managed to trigger curiosity amongst my colleagues as well as the bosses from other departments so that they would acknowledge of my determination to succeed. Soon, the menial task of scanning becomes adventurous, fun, and exciting attempt to develop new tactics and possibly the best method of scanning the company or anyone else had ever seen in their life. It made me smile for every second I was sorting the document into categories. Finally, on day 4, I had finished with segregating the documents into the same groups. Now it's time for scanning. I was having fun and elated to test my newly developed techniques for scanning. Instead of scanning each document, which took a lot of time, I began utilizing the feeder function where I could stack a huge pile on the top feeder where the scanner would scan them one by one until the pile was completed. At first, I started with a smaller pile just to test and observe how it worked. Soon, the scanner managed to finish scanning the first pile with ease. Since the first pile were from the same company, I just need to enter the company name only once for the whole pile of documents. Next, I need to key in small changes such as different dates, type of documents, while the other information remained the same. As a result, it took me 5 minutes to complete the first pile. After that, I tested with a bigger pile and everything went smoothly. I took somewhat 10 to 20 minutes faster 20 minutes. Instead of my standard smile of my face, I was beginning to grin from ear to ear. It was working much faster and efficient than I had earlier predicted. All the documents that had been scanned were loaded into boxes and be kept in the depository room accordingly. After several successful batches of scanning, I called upon my superiors to check up on my scanned documents. She was satisfied with the quality as well as the progress that was halted since the last 4 to 5 days. I told her that everything should be completed in several days. She asked me which batch am I referring to. I responded everything. She refused to believe me and left me to continue with my work. As time goes, the scanning was progressing quickly and I was enjoying them because I could do other things while waiting for the scanner to eat the pile of documents. For a huge pile, I could go to the toilet while having the scanning to keep on going without my supervision. After about 10 days, I went to my superior and asked her for any other documents that I could scan. She asked me if I had done the one in the depository room at the back. I replied to her that I had done everything in the depository room. She was surprised and seemed hesitant to believe that I had completed the scanning for every document that was meant to take up to 3 months following the standard procedure for scanning. She began to check my workstation, which was surrounded by boxes of documents. She pointed to the boxes and stared at me. I nodded. She was shocked because it only took around 10 days to do the entire document scanning. Next, she checked the digital library of the scanned document, which indicated that I had indeed scanned everything. She finally realized that I had done the 3 months of work in 10 days. She hurried and called upon the most senior employee to inform that I no longer had any work to do after completed the scanning work. After verifying that I had done my scanning task, she began to inform the head of claims department on assigning new tasks for me to do. Finally, after some discussion, the head of the department decided that I should be given an opportunity to do the actual claim job, which was done by senior executive. After receiving approval by the floor manager, I was allowed to learn how to do a proper claims inspection and the right way to use the system, as well as filing up the forms by one of the senior employee that was pregnant. They decided that if I managed to learn the whole process, I might be able to take over the pregnant lady job while she would take a leave of absence for several months to deliver the baby. Basically, my tactics worked as predicted, and I was finally acquired their trust to perform a proper executive job in the claims department. It was an amazing experience to me because I had to verify every claims made to the company, which include analyzing various accidents and justifying the amounts of claims made. At first, it took me one whole day to complete one case of claims, which was considered to be very slow. In comparison, other senior employees managed to finish around 4 to 5 cases per day. I challenged myself to perform better than those senior employees. After a while, I was able to complete every case of claims given to me much faster after weeks had elapsed. I was at the same speed to my senior colleagues, even if I was still lacking of their vast experience performing the job. Nonetheless, I had the advantage of my ability to converse and write in English, which most of the senior employees seemed to lack. During the month's meeting for claims department, the floor manager had highlighted on my work to everyone in the meeting. She was very surprised that I was able to complete 3 months of work in 10 days. The scanning task managed to alleviate the company's backlog work since the past 6 months. In short, she used one word to describe about my arrival to the reinsurance company: God sent. So that ends the story of chapter 39, and hope to hear you again in the next chapter, chapter 40. Thank you for listening and see you in the next video.